Hey, what's up? So in the previous video we added this to do generate salt. So I will show you how we can store the password for each user in a secure way by hashing that password. So let me show you the algorithm we will use. So I'm not sure how to pronounce this. When I put it into Google Translate, it says it in a weird way. Let me show you. So I choose English.
bcrypt.
I hope you heard that, but I will just call it bcrypt. I'm not sure if this is the correct way. But anyway, bcrypt is a password hashing function designed by Nilis Provos and David Maziris. But it's basically the idea is to hash the password in a one-way hashing, so no one can know the original string or the original password. And to add extra layer for the security, you will use something called salt, which is basically just a string. And for each user, I will generate a separate salt and hash the password with that salt and then store it. In other frameworks, and most of them actually, you will have one secret or one salt for all of your passwords. But in this application, I will just store a separate salt for each user. And when you log in, when the user tries to log in, they will send the password that they typed with the email, and you will go in the database, get the password for that email, and compare it with the hashed version of the password that they tried to log in with the same salt. If these two are correct, which means the user logged in credentials are correct. So I think in code this will be more clear. So let's just try by securing the password and hashing them. I think this is a good start for now. So, and I will show you how we can secure them so no one can see them when the response returns. If you remember now, when we get the users, we will see the password and the salt, which is very bad. So npm install bcrypt, and since we are using TypeScript, we need to install the types. So add types. I mean, not for all packages, but for this one, we need to install the types. So I will just continue until hopefully they will finish. So let me just open this here. I didn't open the code in another screen, but basically you will import two functions from bcrypt. The first one is the hash, and the second one is the generate salt, and these two returns a promise. So when the user tries to create an account, in our case this will map to this route, which is in the post controller, but usually people maybe in Nest.js or other frameworks will create a separate controller with a separate service called authentication, because there's so many parts included in the authentication process. Maybe you will send them an email, or maybe you will authenticate them from Facebook API, Google API. So, but in our case, it's really simple application. I will just use one function inside this controller to create the user and generate the salt. So user.salt will equal to await. So because we are using await, I will convert this to a sync. So await gen salt, and that's it. And user.password will equal to await hash. So let's hash that password with the user.salt, and this will just create the hashed password and store the salt with the user. Yeah, so let's just everything's stored. Let's just run this npm run dev source app.ts. And let me get Postman. So this is the data I'm sending, this is the password, this is the the password and the email. There's something, cannot find module. Why? I mean, I think it's in our package.json. This, yeah. I mean, sometimes this is so. Sometimes this is weird. Actually, we have it. Maybe, yeah, if you're using Windows, I think you will need to use another library. It's the same thing, but implemented in vanilla JavaScript. You can Google that. But actually, there's some notes here about Windows you might want to read if you are using Windows. I'm using Ubuntu, by the way. But yeah, so npm run dev source app.js. 1 second, let me just open the fan. It's really hot. Okay. So everything's fine. I'm not sure why this happened. Maybe it's already installed. So let's now go and create our user. We should, so these are the data. We should see the user object. And as you can see, the password is hashed. And this is the salt. Now when the user tries to log in, they will send, or he or she will send the email with the password that they typed. For example, like this email and this password. What you will do, you will get the user by this email, then compare the password stored in the database with this password, but before that you need to hash this password with the same salt. If these two strings after doing all of this are the same, this means the credentials are correct. This is the idea behind this. Yeah. And where we are logging this, I'm not sure. Maybe in the create? Yeah, okay, in the create. Yeah, I was trying to show you that this is a partial entity, not yeah, as you can see, you can't see the ID. But now this is not actually good, because when anyone can see the password and the salt for each user. Even if you go to /users, select all of them, you can see the password and salt. So there's a lot of ways we can hide them. Maybe here you will loop over the users and just delete that property, but I don't think this is a good idea. A good way, if you go to users entity, there is two options we can do. First one, you can go into the password and type select to false, and also to the salt, select false. And let's see what this will do. And this is actually from TypeORM itself. Okay, so remember, if I now go and try to get the users, this will return an empty array, because in our entities we are synchronizing with true, which means it will drop everything and rebuild the whole database. So let's create the user, and we have the password and the salt, but let's try to get all of the users. We won't see the password and the salt. This is what select false do. It will remove these columns from the select statement when we are using find. If you remember, if you go to our base service, so when we go to /users, this get data will be executed, but this one, find one or fail, which we are, and this one, this will return the password and the salt. This is why we can see the password and the salt when we create the user. I'm not sure, but I think we will see them here as well. No, okay, but when you create a user, you will see them. And now what you will need to do, maybe you can, in the user controller, just store this in a variable and then remove the password and the salt. But there is actually a better way, and I prefer that way. Let me remove these. Remember, we installed something called, let me just check 1 second. I think the class transformer. and there is here a decorator called exclude, which from its name it's just gonna exclude the columns that you decorated with. So add exclude, and also here add exclude. And what this does exactly, it will just at the end remove the password and the salt properties from the JSON that this entities got generated to, because this class transformer at the end will, or at least Koa, not Koa, the routing library, this routing controller is using that class transformer behind the scene to transform these entities that we return to, I believe this is how they do it, to JSON. So in that exclude decorator, we are telling them just to remove these two properties from the JSON, and internally we will see the password and the salt when we select, but externally we won't. That's why I like it. It's the syntax is elegant, and it does the job in a good way. Because when we type select false here, when we type find one or find by ID, we won't see them, the password and the salt. Maybe we need them because these are not only the two columns we will exclude, right? So I think this is a good way. And let me just prove to you that the salt and the password exist, and we can see them internally, but we can't see them externally. So const u equal await that, and just return it. Let me console log that user. So we should see this user with the password and the salt here in the log, in the console log, but in Postman, in the response, we won't see the password and the salt. So we don't have it, as you can see, and if you go here, we have it here. So this is the behavior I like. Internally, everything is secure in our server, just grab it and store it in this object, but externally don't return these things. That's why I like this decorator. And actually, even if you go here, you won't see the password and the salt even here. I think this is the, in my opinion, the best way to remove things from the response, to put this exclude from class transformer. I think in the next video I will create I will show you how we can create validation. Maybe after that we can create the login and generate the JSON web tokens for the authentication. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you.